Recently here on my channel, I published a video about printing images on aluminum Dibond, which is a particular type of mount that you can use when ordering prints through a lab like WhiteWall or other companies. Other companies offer aluminum Dibond as well. There are various options available, and to explore the different options, I ordered some samples from WhiteWall and took a look at those. Shared with you my thoughts and opinions about them. And if that is something of interest to you, you want to explore that further, I'll link to that up there and down below too, of course. But I'm sharing a follow-up here because in that video, I talked about the ultraHD printing option that WhiteWall provides. And when you go to their website and you read about it, I mean, this is an option that you have that promises to create a better, richer, deeper looking print, better, color compared to like, standard, photo rag, fine art photography paper. It's a different type of print, but it definitely has its use cases. For example, I wanted to print this image here of some sand dunes that I photographed last year, and this has very deep blues and purples in it. And I was thinking that those hues, might get a little bit lost on, just normal, photo rag, paper. So I got both an Ultra HD print, and I got the Fuji Crystal DP2 color print, which is the standard color paper that WhiteWall uses. And I compared the two and talked about them in last week's video. But the update that I have for you today is that I talked to WhiteWall about this and exchanged emails with them. And I said, hey, I think the Ultra HD print is great. I'm interested in printing on, this paper, which is the Fuji Maxima paper is what it's called. But I don't like the sharpening. Like, I already sharpened the image before I uploaded it. I don't need extra sharpening. It's creating halos in the image. It doesn't look good. So I would prefer, to print on Maxima without the sharpening. So how do I do that? Like, how do I order that kind of print? And they responded to me and said, hey, sorry you didn't, like the test print. We'll make another one for you without the sharpening and send it out to you right away. And they did. And I just received it actually like yesterday, I think it was. And it's definitely an improvement. I mean, without the sharpening, now there's no longer like a noticeable white halo around the edge of the dune. There's no black, corresponding black line inside of the dune either, which is, typical of, some type of sharpening being applied to an image. That's no longer there. So I asked them, I said, okay, cool. I think this looks good, but, how exactly do I place an order for this? Because there's not a way to do it through the online, website, through the tool. There's no way for me to order an Ultra HD print without sharpening. And they said, well, we'll put a note on your account so that when your images are processed, if you, from this point forward, if you upload a color image and order an Ultra HD print, it will be printed without sharpening. Cool. But that doesn't really address the question of, well, what do you do, right? I mean, like, what do you do if this is something of interest to you and you want to explore Ultra HD as an option? Because right now, at least at the time of this video, there's not a way to order one of these prints without additional sharpening unless you request it. If you are interested in exploring Ultra HD as an option when you are making a print, I would request reaching out to WhiteWall and asking them to not apply any unsharp mask, any kind of sharpening to your image, especially if you are sharpening your own images prior to upload. And hopefully they'll be able to, help you out, like they did for me. And just in general, I would definitely recommend if, this is something that you're planning to do with your own photography, I would definitely recommend getting some test prints made. I mean, I have 3 test prints now here of this dune. 2 I paid for, 1 that was, sent to me, free, from WhiteWall. And these are extremely helpful. And, yes, you do have to pay for it, but the cost of having these printed is, it doesn't matter in the long run, because I would much rather order test prints and make sure that I'm happy with the paper, I'm happy with how an image looks before spending more money to have like a real actual print made and be mounted and framed and all that kind of stuff. Knowing me and knowing how particular I get about things, it would really bother me if I made a print and went to all the expense of, making it and everything, especially a print that I would give to someone else or someone else would buy or whatever. Like, I would want to make sure that I'm 100% happy with it, that I like how it looks, that I think it's as good as it can possibly be. Before spending more money, I think it's a good idea to spend just a little bit of money, to get some test prints made. And by the way, in case you didn't watch that video from last week, these test prints are printed on the actual paper at the actual size that you want. They just put watermarks all over the image, and they slash the price. It doesn't really cost that much in comparison to, the actual print. And yeah, you can do a fair amount of proofing, on screen, and that'll give you a somewhat accurate, interpretation of what the image is going to look like on paper. But at the end of the day, there's nothing like the actual image on the actual paper at the actual size that, you intend to use. So anyway, if you're interested in Ultra HD, I recommend reaching out to WhiteWall, asking about sharpening. I would recommend printing without it. And hopefully that'll be an option eventually in the future. So you don't have to, special request it. Okay, that's it. See you next time.